Hello YouTube and welcome to a video we haven't done in a very long time. We are going to break down the time to kills, all the math for the SMG. So you're going to find out which is the best SMG. Alright, I kind of clickbaited you. There is no best SMG. They're all actually good at different things. And we're going to find out what each weapon is good at. Alright, so let's get right to it, the math. So we are fortunate enough to have this data because of John Reed, an awesome member of the community who essentially, I believe, data mines this data. We only have data for the 1-star weapons, at least, that he put out for me to just go and grab. And so we are only seeing here the data for 1-star weapons, which should not affect everything you see here. And so I wanted to put the M10 here, but the M10, the shotgun, actually has a faster rate of fire the higher the stars, so that wouldn't help us because we only have white 1-star weapons. So anyways, let's get to it. We're going to start from the right to the left here. First off, let's orient you with all this stuff. We have body damage on the left, head damage, the rounds per second, which is the rate of fire, the full damage range, meaning how far do you have to be to get that full amount of damage, that body shot or headshot damage. Then we have a new variable here, a new number that I really love that I never saw before or really noticed, and that was the bullet speed. And that's really the bullet travel speed, I believe, okay? And this number is very, very important, okay? And it is not something we really considered in all of our other kind of videos. And it's really because I didn't have that numbers or I didn't see it, didn't notice it. And so now here we have on the first line we have the body time to kills, okay, and that's with all body shots. If you're new to this channel, that means that if you get all body shots with this weapon, how fast will you kill someone? This is in seconds, so that's 0.7 seconds, under a full second. Headshot time to kill is the bottom bar, and 0.47 means 0.47 seconds, okay? A lower number is better, you kill them faster. All right, so lower number, the better. Now, let's get to it. We're going to start on the right side here. The Tech 9. This thing slaps, right? And if you watched my last video, right, I was like using all Tech 9 in the clips I showed you because god damn it slaps. But let's get to it. So it has great damage, as you can see here. The rounds per second is actually really good too. It's actually faster than all the SMGs. If you don't count the Uzis, because there's 2 guns with the Uzis, so it's 13 per Uzi, so you times it by 2, it's 26. But anyways, the Tech 9 shoots fast, it does good damage now that it got a buff, and it has to have a short range, 12, that's not good, it's really not good. And then it has really a bad bullet travel speed of 450, okay, that's not good. And so anyways, before I interpret all of this, let's keep going. The body time to kill is 0.47 seconds, which is really, really good. It's the fastest weapon here besides the DT11, and shotguns are kind of in their own category, mind you. I put the Tech 9 in kind of like the SMG category, submachine gun category. So it's really the best out of like all these other SMGs or these spray weapons, right? And look at the headshot time to kill. That's absolutely absurd. If you were magically, like, if your aim was magical, you could, in theory, kill someone faster with a Tech 9 than you could with a DT11, okay? DT11 shotgun, you need 3 shots to kill. It takes 0.42 seconds to kill with 3 shots, including a reload, assuming you're perfect at reloading, which is not a lot of people. And so this is like a professional player with a DT11. You get killed in 0.42 seconds. The Tech 9 is comparable to that, okay? And I think the Tech 9 takes a lot less skill than a DT11 to use, and so that's a big win there, okay? Very dangerous weapon. I'd say the only thing limiting this weapon are obviously the small magazine size, as in if you, like with the white star and the 2-star, if you miss just 1 or 2 or 3 bullets, you're pretty much in trouble because you're going to have to reload and you're going to get blown away by that shotgun, right? And so I would only really feel comfortable charging in if someone's 200 health, like 100 shield, 100 health. I would only feel comfortable like charging in, knowing they're full, with like a 3-star or a 4-star, so I have a little bit more ammo and maybe a little bit better recoil control because of the star level, so I don't miss any dang shots, all right? So know that that's how I would use this in application, the Tech 9. Now, the interesting thing that's really sucky here is this bullet travel speed of 450, okay? That means that the bullets just go slower in the air. Now, in theory, it's not that bad because you're really kind of using this in like point blank range anyways. But if, for example, you're standing at 12 range at this maximum 12 range, well, take a look over here. The P90 also has a 12 range, but the bullets travel almost twice as fast. Like, oh, not literally, but they travel way faster. So if you're really looking at this time to kill at the furthest range it does damage at 12, then you actually have to lower this time to kill or increase it. It has to be worse. So it might, if you're standing at the maximal damage range of 12, it might be closer to the P90 time to kill. You get what I'm trying to tell you here? Each gun has like an effective range where it's better than all the other guns. And I'm sure whoever did all this math laid this out. They probably had a chart and said, okay, I got to make this gun the best at this range, the best at this range, the best at this range. And then they add one gun that maybe just has easier recoil and it's kind of in the middle. But this, I'm sure, is what they did. And it's really brilliant when you think about it, because in the old meta, we only had 2 weapons, and we only used 2 weapons, period. But now every gun has a niche. So what does the Tech 9 do? You want to be closer than this 12, I don't know what, yards, feet, whatever. I don't know what that means. But in practice, what this really means is almost the yellow line in the training park. Like, if you know the DT11, to get the full range, you have to be a little closer than that first yellow line in the training park, which is really, really close. 12 is like maybe like 1.5 yellow line in the training park. Don't quote me on that. Go test it. Go do it. We're going to do a whole video on that. But know that there's a range at which this will become less effective than an SMG, obviously, right? But the bullet travel speed makes it so that you really want to be closer than even its maximal damage range. Let me say that again, because this is really important for me. Maybe not for you, because you might not play like I do. I min-max every single fight I do with my weapons. As in, if I know that I know the maximal damage range for all these weapons in my head, just like by how far I am in the game. I have to tell myself now, because I like min-maxing these weapons, that the Tech 9, even though the Tech 9 is doing max damage at this range, if I dare duel someone who is using, for example, a P90 at the same range, that 12, I'm going to lose, probably, right? I'm probably going to miss a couple shots too. And so I have to know those kinds of things for me. So for me, I use the Tech 9 almost like point blank, like literally almost point blank-ish range. And then that's where this 450 doesn't matter versus all the other weapons. You get it? Like, this is how we have to interpret this. This is fun. We could never do this before. So I think that's really exciting. So Tech 9 really good, but know that the further you get away, the less effective it's going to be, and that's really because of the bullet travel speed. And that's really what limits all the pistols. All the pistols really suck with bullet travel speed. They're great if the bullets just travel just as fast as all these other weapons, which I think they should. It's a bullet. Then, they would be really good weapons. All the pistols would be excellent weapons, and I don't see why not give it to them. Give some pistols some love. But that's not here or there. All right, so let's get to the Uzis really quick. Uzis, on paper, they have the best submachine gun time to kill of 0.55 seconds. Know that they don't do headshot damage. I just put that here to fill it in because I didn't like blanks here. But know that it's 0.55 seconds, but that's assuming you don't miss a single bullet and you're using both guns and you're pulling the triggers at the same time, you're hitting all your shots. That's not easy to do. And the problem is you had to ground walk with these, right? You have to walk because you can't hold on to anything when you're shooting, obviously. Now, the big problem is, even though this got a buff to the range at which it is effective at 2 months ago, when I was using this in practice, the range wasn't enough to make me want to actually use these, because I don't want to be anywhere close to the shotguns or the Tech 9 when I have Uzis because of how fast those times of kills are. So I'm stepping a bit back, and where I feel comfortable with this weapon is not, it's not getting that maximum damage. It's beyond this 14 for me. I don't want to be anywhere close to this Tech 9. So I'm going to be further, because the Tech 9 guy can peek a wall. He can one-hand peek a wall and blind fire. You can't do that really well with the Uzis. You can actually throw your chin into a wall and peek over the wall with Uzis, but that's not really easy to do, and it's just not practical. You're gonna get shot by an op. So what I'm trying to tell you is Uzis got a little bit of love 2 months ago, but they're really not there still, okay? And you probably knew that because you're using them and like, this ain't working where I want it to work. So enough with Uzis. But in theory, they're great. UMP. Okay, the UMP is really exciting, I think. The UMP, on paper, the UMP is great, and it actually is great. And sort of. All right, let's get to it. So it's not a good time to kill. 0.75 is in the close range is not a good time to kill. In the close mid-range, it's not a great time to kill, but it's not the worst. The headshot is not great, but it's not the worst. It's just kind of like there, right? It's kind of like an all-arounder kind of weapon. It actually has a recoil pattern now, so you do have to slightly adjust, but it is a pretty easy recoil pattern, okay? And so know that the time to kill is not horrible, but it's not great, alright? And the thing that hurts me with the UMP, I think, is this number right here, is the 700, because I knew that 2 months ago, or even before that, I think, when the MP5 and the UMP kind of got equivalated in terms of the rate of fire and the damage, like I think the MP5 took a nerf. It was when MP5 was like the god of the whole game. That on paper, the UMP was really good, and so I was picking it up and using it. And I was trying to make it good, but I found out very quickly that it just, like, when in the mid-close range, I wasn't finishing people. They keep getting away with one damn shot or something like that. And I think the reason why I feel when I pick up the MP5 and I'm doing the same thing and I'm getting those kills, or I'm getting closer at least, I'm not as let down by it in actual practice, is because of this number. This 700 versus the 750, the bullet travel speed. Really, if you're kind of factoring these time to kills, a faster bullet travel speed should, in theory, improve the time to kill, as in these numbers should be lower. If I was comparing the MP5 and the UMP and we're considering this bullet travel speed, really these numbers are going to be even better when they're already better than the UMP. Does that make sense? It's like the MP5 has a faster bullet travel speed, so it's actually got an even better time to kill than the UMP if we compare those directly. Now, the advantage of the UMP over the MP5 is that the recoil pattern is very easy to learn. The MP5 is actually probably the second hardest recoil to control in this entire game that is masterable. The UMP, though, has a better range, okay? It just has a better range at which you can shoot. So you get a little bit more range. So if you want to think about the UMP, it's a good all-around weapon. It's got easy to, aim, accuracy, but the bullet travel speed's kind of crap. It's kind of shite. So you kind of have to get used to it. But I still think of it as dog water, to be honest. And really it's because of this bullet travel speed. But I should not think of it as dog water, because when we get to the other guns, it's really not when you compare it to the others. So let's get to the P90. So let's leave the UMP there for now. It's the best at the longest range that an SMG can do. Okay, a little better at the long range. Obviously, because you can aim it easier too. So if you're gonna pick a niche for the UMP, every gun has a niche. It is the best long range SMG for what that's worth. Okay, so in practice, for example, knowing this information, how do I use it? Well, I know, okay, if I'm rolling with a UMP, I'd better have a Tech 9 or a shotgun, because if you get anywhere even closer than like the mid-close range, you're gonna get crapped on by this SMG at least. Okay, so let's get to it. The P90. The P90 surprised me. Okay, but I knew it got a buff. Like, I really knew it did 2 months ago. They weren't verbal about it though, but it got a buff, and no one really noticed it because everyone kind of just didn't touch it, shied away from it. And I believe it was 18 damage 2-3 months ago. Don't quote me on that, but it was lower. And so when you do the math, actually, the time to kill is really fantastic for the P90. It's actually fastest body shot out of the 4 weapons here, the MP5, MP9, and the UMP, time to kill. And guess what? The bullet travel speed is the fastest, and as we just talked about, that's amazing. Okay, so like, boom, solid, wonderful. But not only is the bullet travel speed fast, guess what? It has the fastest rate of fire. 1 bullet faster than the UMP, and also like 2 bullets faster than the MP5, right? So the P90 on paper is marvelous. Now, what's really limiting it? The red number. The full damage. Oh, goddamn. The full damage range, okay? The full damage range is really, really bad, okay? What does this mean? You gotta be at the same distance as someone with a Tech 9. And as we just went over, look how dangerous the Tech 9 numbers are, okay? But we just did a comparison with the Tech 9 versus the P90, right? The Tech 9, closer than 12 yards, the Tech 9's going to win because the bullet travel speed doesn't matter and obviously has a faster time to kill. But if you're near the back end of that 12 yards, like if you're at 12 yards, if that's yards, feet, whatever, then the P90's got a better chance, right? That's the kind of stuff you have to interpret and got to know, right? So the P90, if you're going to look at all these other SMGs, the P90 is the best close range submachine gun, okay? And that makes sense because after the first 2 seconds or 3, it starts doing random recoil. It starts bouncing all around the place and you can't master it because it's just random. So know that the P90 is the close range submachine gun, which is kind of cool, right? Now, the interesting thing is this thing let me down so many times, and this is where knowing this information really will help you in game. I was like not even far from my enemies. They were in like the circular cylinder at the observatory, and I was like at the wall behind like that one of those crates. I just come out. They were ground walking in the open competition, which like never happened. So in my mind, I was like, boom, easy, free kills. And whenever you see free kills in competition, you take that. And so I was like, okay, I got this. I unload at him. It's all 8s. 8 damage, 8 damage, 8 damage, 8 damage. And I was like, motherfucker. It's like if I had any other goddamn weapon, if I used an assault rifle, if I used any one of these other SMGs, I probably would have killed them because I really was not far away. I wish I clipped it so I could show you. Like visually, I was so close to them. I was just like scratching my head. I was like, God damn it. So like the range is really what makes the P90 shite. But it's the best at breaking build because it only takes 3 bullets now. All these SMGs got buffed. Before, the MP9 was the only SMG that could break bullets in 3 shots. Now every SMG breaks build in 3 shots. So all the other SMGs got buffed in the last 2 months, if you didn't know. And so that's why we're even considering all these others now in comparison to the MP9 is really the build break. The build break is what made the MP9 the king, right? So now we're going to talk about, since we covered the P90, we're going to talk about the MP9, and this is probably the most surprising information for me. The MP9 really got hit hard. I know it got a damage nerf, like in the 2 months ago, when you look at the patch notes, it got a damage nerf. But I don't remember the damage nerf being this bad. Like, I really don't remember it being the worst time to kill out of all these on paper. I'm starting to think that something else happened. Like, they ninja nerfed something else in this weapon because it doesn't make sense to me. Because the last time I checked, the UMP was not as good as the MP9, like, time to kill wise. At least the last time I off my just memory, right? And so I'm so shocked by this because this was the god weapon before 2 months ago. And so I was like, what? And now it has the worst time to kill out of the 4 submachine guns, and yeah, period, for body and headshots. And it has the worst bullet travel speed, which is crazy. And I'm not sure which piece got nerfed, like besides the damage. I know the damage got nerfed. That's on the patch notes. They do a whole bunch of ninja nerfs they don't tell us about. Always. Every single patch, pretty much, that they change weapons, they have ninja nerfs in it. And sometimes ninja buffs, too. But really, this thing's really got hurt. But it's still usable, right? You can still kill people with it. This is still a good time to kill. It doesn't have a hard recoil to learn, right? So in theory, you can laser beam with it. And my friend Colin the 5 was just telling me today he got like the most kills in the whole competition like lobby with this weapon. And so it's not a horrible weapon by any means. And really the reason why it's good is because of how easy it is to control the recoil. You just have to get used to that damn laser dot sight and laser dot. And that doesn't work for me. Like, I just suck with that thing. Me personally. I'm not saying it sucks. But so know that even though on paper it's not horrible, it's still usable. But I mean, you know, I prefer the MP5 now, particularly knowing this information. But for me, even just when I started this past week, the MP9 was kind of letting me down, and I was like, why? And so the MP5, let's get to it. So the MP9, I don't know what happened, but it is the worst SMG out of the 4. Except it just has a better recoil, and it has a nice sight, like a nice sight dot you can look through, right? That's really easy to use. So that's nice. The UMP doesn't have a sight, right? That's a downside to it. And so, damn, what happened? I don't know. Maybe it was always like that. And we like now the reason why the MP9 was the king until 2 months ago is really because of the build break. It only took 3 bullets to break a build, whereas all the others took more than that. I think it was 5 bullets for build, 5 bullets for a single build for the other 3 SMGs, and that's really what made the MP9 king, how fast it could break build. But now all the other ones do that too. So, like, is there really a reason to use the MP9 now? Besides it being able to have laser beam accuracy? Probably not. But if you're a new player, absolutely use this because it is intuitive. It's very easy to learn. I have a masterclass video that you only need to watch that video and you're going to be able to do it. It's that easy. Whereas the P90 is going to take some practice with. The UMP has about the same difficulty recoil pattern as the MP9. So in all honesty, I actually think the UMP is the better SMG over the MP9. Like, if you had to choose between the two, like, honestly, I think the UMP is better right now, and that just boggles my mind. Nelson in my chat, my friend Nelson, longtime supporter, he said he always knew since this latest patch that the UMP was better, so that was cool. So that makes sense. I'm glad someone agrees because this math just wasn't adding up to me. Because in my mind, from years of this, right, the UMP has always been the worst out of all of them. So know that I wouldn't make fun of you if you use the UMP now, but don't get too close with it. We were just talking about it. Now, the MP5. All right, MP5. I'm so happy because this is my favorite weapon. When I was using the UMP and the MP5, I was telling you earlier that it just didn't feel right. With the UMP, I just wasn't getting those kills. And it's really the bullet travel speed for me, I think. It just, the bullets were traveling faster. And for me, that faster travel speed made it easier for me to hit my shots. Like, I'm leading it just right. Like, versus the MP9, I'm not used to how slow this bullet travel speed is, okay? You can get used to it, sure. But for me, I'm just used to this faster bullet travel speed of the MP5, so everything else, or at least the MP9 and the UMP, feel really weird to me. And I didn't know that until I actually saw these numbers today. And this is the reason why I brought this out. I actually brought this out for my own edification, but I'm showing you to help you as well. And so this is actually going to change a lot for me. But know that the MP5 has really really the best time to kill if you think about it. It has the best headshot time to kill, and by a long margin. Look at that, 0.47 versus 0.6 at the lowest, and that's why I love the MP5, because it's not impossible to get a good amount of headshots from a single magazine with the MP5, so it really helps the time to kill. So if you kind of average these together, you're looking at a nice time to kill versus these others, and that's why I love the MP5. It's a high risk, high reward weapon. Very hard to master the recoil. You gotta practice it, really. Like, if I'm playing competition, I go in the shooting range and I do like a box or two of this in the training park, shooting range. And so it's high reward, high skill, because if you hit headshots, you're killing crazy fast. You're killing as fast as the Tech 9, right? In theory. But it's not unheard of to laser beam with this weapon because the recoil pattern is masterable. You can learn it and you can laser beam with it, right? But the reason why I love it is because of the full damage range. It's really got a nice full damage range. And the bullets don't just cut off like the MP9 does. If you walk too far, the MP9, like, we're not talking like the damage cutoff range. Like, damage cutoff range, sometimes if you go too far with the MP9, the bullets just disappear, right? They don't hit the target. So the MP9 has a short, like, we're not even talking about that range here. We're talking about, like, effective ranges in this video. And so, like, the MP5 can shoot further than the MP9. It's got a farther effective full damage range, which I like. I want to be as far away as I can from the shotguns when I got, an SMG. It's got a better rate of fire than the MP9. It's got better, headshot damage. That's for damn sure. And so, really the bullet travel speed is what sells me here. It's how fast and how slow it is. So know that, you can use any SMG and do well with it. If, Calling the 5, if anything, proved that today when he rocked competition recently with the MP9. And so, like, you can use whatever gun you want to use. It's just your playstyle, what suits you, right? Know that, for example, the MP5 is probably the best, period. If you had to rate one, The MP9 is the good, like the easy to master one, so you don't have to practice anything. So if you don't have time to practice, just pick this up and use it, and you're gonna do great with it. The P90 is the close range SMG. You gotta get close for it to be that killer, like really close, like kind of scary close. 12 is really scary close when a DT's killing super fast at 6. I don't want to be anywhere near that. So anyways, the P90 is usable. Really, really usable, because look at that bullet travel speed. God dang, that's fast compared to, like, for example, the Tech 9. So use this point blank almost, the P90. That's the kind of weapon it is. The UMP, it's kind of the best all-arounder, as in it's easy recoil. You can use it at the furthest range. It's got a decent time to kill, but it's like the jack of all trades, right? It's that kind of weapon. And so that's really all we've got for these SMGs. I hope you learned something from this. I certainly did, and this influences like how I play completely. I know these numbers might not be interesting to you, and you might not know how to apply them. That's why I was talking you through it, right? This changes everything for me in how I'm going to play, but that's just how I play. And so this now is the same thing as what you saw in the time to kill, the last slide, but this is just the visuals for you visual learners. Okay, I just broke it down because I know people like to see all this stuff, right? So here it is for you. We have the best SMGs all laid out in a row, and I hope you learned something from this. Pink Ponage out.